Hi, my name's Andreas and these are my response videos to the videos that have been posted about Weston Mare saying it's the worst town in the UK, and the YouTuber who did that knows who he is. So I was born in Weston, so I feel qualified, and I'm 57. I've worked here, I've ran businesses here, and I've raised my family here. So right now we're in Prince Consort Gardens, which is at the top end of Weston, very near the old pier. Like every town, we have good bits and bad bits, but most towns overall have many good bits. So from here, I've got Mazzy, my dog, with me as well. She's sort of holding me back. Just say Mazzy, say hi. Lovely border collie. And we can see the old pier. This pier is under refurbishment. I'm just walking towards it, but you'll see that these gardens are beautiful. See there? And a lot of people come up here because they want to get away from the sort of touristy part of Weston. You know, ice cream, fish and chips, all that kind of stuff. All the hustle and bustle. They just want a bit of peace and quiet. So let's have a look at the old pier, also known as Birnbeck Island. So a lot of history on this pier. Yes, it's derelict, it's under refurbishment. I mean, it's probably 150 years old, isn't it? And primarily this was the busy pier in Weston. You had ferries coming in there. There was even some sort of ride that went into the water. And a lot of people came over from Wales. And look at the views there. You've got Steep Home, Flat Home, where the lighthouse is, and then over there you've got Breandown Island. And all just beautiful places to visit. Unfortunately, the tide's out. So yes, a lot of Victorian structures need massive investment, but the local council are investing in this structure, but it's going to take many years. And there's a cafe down there that raises funds. I've always said that the best place to raise funds for this pier is to use the new pier as a place to collect money, charity money, and then help rebuild this pier. And that goes out to the owners, Kerry and Michelle Michael. Let some fundraisers help rebuild this pier for Weston Mare and Weston Mare inhabitants. And you'll see here just lots of people just enjoying themselves, enjoying the beautiful day. Just making our way down from those gardens, and we're going to head towards Madiera Cove, just passing the Captain's Cabin pub. Been here forever, really, and I used to come here many years ago. And you can see it's a blisteringly warm day. And on the way here, we actually drove through the woods, which for about over a mile, and it was a beautiful drive through the woods. And look at this nice narrow path that leads down at the end to one of Weston Mare's treasures, which is this little cove here. We've been here many times, and literally as far back as I remember. And my mother would bring me here quite often when she wanted some quiet time. So here we are at Madiera Cove. Quite a few people here today. I'm just showing you the cove and how beautiful it is. When the tide comes in, it's lovely. And then you've got Breandown Island there, and you can see the new pier. And around from here we have Marine Lake, which we'll show you shortly. And this is this lovely little cafe here, ice creams and snacks here. Yeah, so this is the supposedly the worst town in the United Kingdom. How unhappy all these people look. It's just, if you're going to do a review, keep it balanced. Don't just film the empty properties. There's Mazzy there. No, you can't drink seawater, Mazzy. No, she's picked up a stone because she wants me to throw it. So she's, I think she's three years and upwards. I think she's 4 this year. Lovely dog, but always wants to throw a ball, throw a stick, and always wants to be exercised. So there, I just want to show you, if we walk right out here to the causeway. So some boats, ships years ago would come here. There are still boats that go across to the islands. And you catch them further up. We might see that place. We're not fully into the season yet. Really, it starts for Weston. Season starts really, they call it Whitsun, so June. and that's when you start to get all the majority of coaches coming from all around the country. You get people coming from Birmingham, many come from Birmingham, Wales, Bristol, because it's convenient, but they come from all over. You know, I meet people from all around the world here, and I speak to people all around the world, and quite often they'll say, yeah, I've been to Weston Supermare Cove. I'm trying to avoid this mud, and I don't want to fall into the mud. So yeah, this causeway is an old causeway. So there you are, and then across there you can just about see, if I zoom in, and we're going to walk around there now, where Marine Lake is, you can just about see the new pier. There was a Victorian pier, but there was a fire, and so, you know, it was decided the council let them rebuild with a much more modern, stronger structure, and it's very popular and very busy. Okay, we're just making our way down to Marine Lake now. You can see the sand in the distance, and that's the Nightstone Island, which used to have for many years a swimming pool and was redeveloped into flats. And you'll find that many large properties are flats and accommodation now. As you look around here, there's quite a nice one there. A few famous people have purchased flats there, permanent flats. Then you've got the Marine Lake Bridge, and the lake, of course. You can see some boats. So now the children have gone back to school. Pretty sure where the RNLI shop is now, it was the Roselle Music Garden. I actually remember that when I was a small child. The atmosphere around it was fantastic, and so yeah, lots of facilities here, lots of accommodation, and full accommodation. When I say full, I mean it's not closed. You've got one there that's being developed right now, and I saw a really big one back by the Cove, massive old Dauntsey's hotel. That's having millions of pounds spent on it. So you can see it's off season in the way of children have just gone back to school yesterday. And so a lot of park benches here dedicated to loved ones that have moved on to, you know, to their journey. And then, so there's one there, Hi Alan and Ella May, lovely. And so it's nice to show respect like that and remember people. So years ago, was it the 80s? This was covered, and there was a massive, you can see some holiday flats up there. I used to work there when it was Nightstone Garage. I was only about 16, and then hi to Dom, if you see this video. Really enjoyed working with you as a car mechanic, or trainee car mechanic. This bit was covered, and here at the weekend and when the schools are closed, it's absolutely packed, because the tide's always in, because that bridge keeps the water in, which is excellent. So yes, steps here, and I've never, you know, it's all, they've just spent quite a lot of money, you know, on this area, so it's looking very up together. And in the distance you can see the new pier there looming. So yeah, spent many days here with myself as a child, with my children. I have 6 children, 2 grandchildren, and you'll see now that there's a lifeboat station there, but they are planning on putting the lifeboat station back one day on the old pier. And look at this nice sand, how, you know, it's nice and flat and really family friendly. Okay, and this is the main sort of beach area of Marine Lake. And if we went down there, there's 2 cafes up there, very nice cafes, and a sauna place as well. There's the pier in the background, and you'll see here there's some really cool looking new business here. Look at that for storage. So I don't know if that's changed hands, but this has been all upgraded. I can see new benches and a new hut there. What a real nice style. Now it's actually a sauna. I wonder if it's an advertisement for the one that's up around the corner, which is round there. There you are, Weston's finest here, fire brigade on the seafront, and they think Weston's great. We've got the RNLI based here as well. And then you've got across here, you've got the lovely Italian restaurant just there. And then as we go up, lots more hotels and restaurants as well. And you've got again in the distance, the pier, but when you get close to it, it is big. Up there's your sauna area. The tide's not in. When it is in, it's lovely. I know it's, you know, we'll always have to say this, Weston Supermare, it doesn't get blue sea, unfortunately. But when it comes in, you can still see through it. But it's like, you've got mud, basically, you've got mud floating around, yeah? And it's killing you can't see the blue. So there you are, and you've got Weston College there, big investment there, and then the Winter Gardens in the distance. And you can see that lovely long promenade and this very safe wall where they've created the seating. And this runs, I think it's about maybe 3 miles, but I think it's 2 miles, all the way up to Uphill. There are woods that you can't see from here that run the full length of Weston-super-Mare. And look at this, look how nice this walk is. And of course you've got the nice safety barriers now. Okay, I definitely used to come here when I was a child. And it's a crazy golf course. And I'll tell you what, at the end, me and my brother would do this. I have a twin brother. If you got the ball in and it rang the bell, you had a free go. And we actually got it in many times. And you don't have to be paying to use the golf course. You can just go in and use their facilities. Just buy yourself an ice cream, get yourself some chips. So yeah, what a lovely day. And we're just coming up to this. This is actually run by the council, this. So we have to say well done to the council. Now they have franchised out the foodery park. And you can come in from the street here. And it's a water park. See here. Water park there. You can still use this sort of seating area. And then you've got the water park there. Looking good. Coming up here now. This is the seafront. There's your entrance there, and they've got toilets, all facilities that require. Went up to one of the main stretch of hotels here. Now, historically, this was called the Melrose Hotel, which I remember as a child. I keep saying that, but because I'm 57, I did catch the tail end of what Weston had been like for the previous sort of 20-30 years. It got into a lovely magical routine. The pier used to have all these green lights on it, and it would open late, and that's one of the downsides to the pier at the moment, is they have events at weekends and the pier is out. Well, I won't say a time, but it used to open when I was young till quite late, 10-11 o'clock on a hot summer's night, July and August. So there we've got the old Colonial here, been here forever. That's the Melrose, and then you've got Nick's Bar and the Zaza Bazaar as well as we go through. Lovely menu, lovely food. Yeah, nothing's cheap anymore, you pay. You want to sit down outside a nice restaurant right opposite view, then fortunately you have to pay for that privilege. A few more restaurants here, and then we've got up just here in the distance. And I'll just carry on, to anyone that makes a video that calls people's home, people's place of work, where people have raised their families, that call it the worst town in the UK when there's 100,000 people living here. Shame on you. That's what I think. Now look at this here. At night they have these coal embers cook food. Lovely hotel. Got that new thatched roof there. And there's the coal embers, which normally at night you see them lit. And then here's Wetherspoons, which is very good value. A lot bigger than you think, that Wetherspoons. Another thing they've done in Weston is they've been converting, they've been doing this for years, converting old buildings that used to be toilets and shelters into cafes and restaurants and takeaways, and they're really nice. And a lot of them predominantly, they do have inside seating areas, but a lot of them, they always have a takeaway area because, in the summer they really need to get that money in fast and to pay the bills through the winter. And you've got to respect all these people that are, that have just made that commitment to run a seasonal business and then given up their own special time in the summer to keep the business afloat. It's a lot of work, a lot of worry, a lot of stress. You've got the beautiful Royal Hotel just here. And they're constantly renovating that, and it's actually looking really up together. You've got more college buildings here. The Winter Gardens, which hosts events, but it's also owned by the college. They have a lot of college events. Education in Weston-super-Mare is amazing. It's a university town as well now. They're always up in their game on that. Most of these, I would say all of these buildings here are full. There's no empty buildings in this area because there is money to be made in Weston-super-Mare if you're a business owner, but you do have to provide a product that the people want. Okay, we're outside the Winter Gardens. That is beautiful, and behind that, I'm not going to go there today, but you have the Italian gardens there, and there's a waterfall, and it's a big area, and behind that you have a big shopping centre called the Sovereign Centre, and the High Street, the Weston-super-Mare High Street, where all the locals go and do their shopping. There is another high street called Wool High Street, which is outside, but then you have other shopping areas, because Weston has several areas. You've got Whirl, Westwick, oh my god, it's hard to remember them all, Locking, and well, there's no point me trying to remember and list them all, but there's always new developments, housing areas around the outskirts of Weston, so that's why there's 100,000 people living here. When I was a child, it was about 40. Okay, the York Hotel, excellent reputation. Sandringham's just changed hands. Again, excellent reputation. And you've got Fella's ice cream kiosk there. And even as a child, I would come here, Fella's, and get myself an ice cream. They had a restaurant to the left round the corner as well, and they had an Italian restaurant as well. One of the surnames was Ferrari. And you got Fella's, and look at the beach, and it looks like we can put the dog. There's a dog on this side. I want to know if I can take a dog on that side, because there's a certain time of year where a certain part of the beach, dogs are not allowed unless they've changed that. And there are wardens here making sure you pick up. And they check that you're carrying bags. And there's some gift shops here, chip shop at the front, tattoos. That one there, that PJ's, they've got an amazing reputation. Italian restaurants, we've got Mexican restaurant up there as well. There's your main entrance to the pier. It's about, or they've had a dinosaur exhibition there. So it's about 4 p.m. I think. So there's your entrance there, and they have events. You can get married there. Chip shop on the beach. Someone's singing away here. Loving life. That hotel behind the Waltzer, some more chip shops, Scoop Ice Cream, Regent Street, amusement arcades. This, I suppose they call this the the sort of the main part of Weston, but I don't actually feel that it is, although it's quite a busy section. But Weston it runs for a few miles, and people walk the full length of it. You've got a new Salt and Malt there, and Bear Grill's famous burger, steak restaurant, bars there, and that's the hotel that's being refurbished in the background, the one with the cream. And then we've got a new restaurant. I know the Victorian Cafe's changed hands. So yeah, we've just passed the busy area, and if you go further that way, there's lots of shops, and there's areas called Meadow Street, Baker Street, where there's lots of other shops as well. That waltzer is funky. So look, I'm just walking along here, just having a nice stroll, definitely catching the sun. Oh wow, the sunsets in Weston, they are some of the best sunsets in the world. Look it up, Weston-super-Mare sunsets. Look at the photographs that people have posted. All these buildings behind me are full. You've got this Rotunda restaurant as well, which is always busy. It has been since it opened. They do loads of really good deals there. Looks like the tide must be in, because they've brought these huts in. When they only do that, and you've got donkeys there in the background, of course. They only bring them in when there's going to be a high tide. Seafood and restaurant. And this restaurant's just been refurbished. Toilets, yeah, do you think they charge you 20 or 30p to have a pee? And then, yeah, so I think that's about right. I think that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching. I mean, this is a video about Weston by a Weston person. You know, I've got to say that because I like Weston, maybe I'm leaning on the positive. Yeah, why not? You know, I live here. Why wouldn't I? Anyone that lives somewhere and decides to live there for many years, and then walks around just picking faults with it, why do you live there? But of course, we got McDonald's, Burger King, Kentucky. We've got big shopping areas, B&Q, Dunham, all the classic shopping areas that we all have. Some lovely properties. And it's not expensive here to buy a property. It's actually really, compared to Bristol, other area, it's actually really good value, even though the prices have gone up a lot, the wages have gone up a lot, you know. So thanks for watching, and bye from Weston Super Mare. Please hit the like, subscribe, give your comments, please keep it positive. If you're going to say something that's not positive, can you back it up with some evidence, not hearsay? Just, you know, if you've seen something that actually really has happened or needs changing, like maybe the parking could be cheaper, put it in the comments. But don't just say, oh, I've heard this, I've heard that, or just make up stuff that you've heard, and that kind of second hand, third hand stuff, which is just basically bad mouthing somewhere just for the sake of it. Bye for now, all the best.